Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I have a special guest with me today, Paula Brown from Chilightful. Paula, thanks for jumping on.
Thanks, Michelle. It's such a pleasure to be talking with you and be connecting up.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited to share what you do because it's so unique. So let's just start with that. What does Chilightful mean, and how did you end up doing what you do right now?
Chilightful, really, the purpose of Chilightful is to ignite people's stories. And Chi is energy in the invisible world, and Lightful is to light it up. And so I use both strategy, mind strategy and heart strategy, mix the two to get influencers and leaders unstuck. That's what Chilightful is to do, is to shed some light on aha moments and your what. So I'm a artist, a graphic facilitator / quick sketch artist, and a purpose coach. So that's the chi of the essence of your what that is discovered by sharing it in picture story.
I love that because so many people really do get stuck around, what is my purpose? What am I here to do? How do I share that in a way that makes sense? And bringing it into something visual is a different approach for that.
Yeah. I find that the talents that I have, literally and figuratively, draw out the essence of the heart of what you're here to do, what your what is, what your purpose is. And amazingly enough, it's what you are in the ordinary is your extraordinary. And it's just amazing to know that people just think that their special gifts are ordinary, and they aren't. They're special, they're unique. And how do you communicate those things clearly instead of just blah, 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 blah? Here's my story. And you're talking over people's heads. And what is it? I think HubSpot did an interesting metric on talking versus listening. And talking, we have 125 to 200 words per minute. We blah, blah, blah. We talk out there. And we listen at 1,000 to 3,000 words of with them. What's in it for me? What am I going to say next? Are you really listening? So that's what you're contending with when you're talking.
Yeah. Well, and that's such an interesting perspective on it, because so often we can look at other people and we see their gifts. We're like, you are so good at this. And they just think, well, isn't everybody? People don't realize that the things that seem ordinary to them really aren't. Those are things that, well, not everybody can do that. You put me up with a sketchboard and we're going to have stick people as opposed to what you can sketch for this kind of thing. So, really identifying what someone's gifts are, it can help to have somebody else guide you through that process.
Yes, I find even myself too close to myself to find my own heartbeat and how I got into this. I was always flowing with the essence of things because I hail from being a creative director for large ad agencies.
Oh, okay.
Branding in visuals. And I was expert at TV. And so storyboarding concepts that were concise and focused on the heart essence or the heart hook. And I did this until my heartbeat stopped. And I passed away, literally.
Oh, wow.
And was sent back. I couldn't stay. I was told I couldn't stay because I had to find purpose. I was to show purpose. And it took me 10 years to figure out what that was about. And so what it's about is finding the heartbeat, putting the heartbeat back into people's lives and businesses by letting them see, live, talk, walk, and show their purpose so they can ignite other people's what's and make big changes in this world. So the influencers and leaders, and we all are leaders, are really my target audience. Those people who are stuck and not knowing how to express themselves. And it's like the ketchup in the refrigerator door. It's right in front of you, but you just don't see it.
Well, I think that's such an important piece too, that sometimes we forget. Part of what we do when we step into what we're here to do is inspire others to do the same thing, like you mentioned. Is it something that as you go through this process, I know you've got a 5-step process that you guide people through, and I'll tell everybody where to go to find out more about that in a minute. But as you're guiding people through that process, do you find that they end up with a lot of those moments like the catch up where it was right there in front of them and they just weren't seeing it?
Yes, we typically start out with what I call my sketch quest.
Uh-huh.
And it's based on one question that people have that they just seem to be stuck with, whether it's brand, life, personal, business, communication, style, anything, just one question. And we talk for an hour, and then I give them a visual black and white summary. And then we talk about the summary. It's the meeting in pictures. So all their words go into this dialogue in a delivered summary of pictures. And bar none, each person, when they do this sketch quest, stops at some point and says, geez, look at these words, these pictures. Where are they coming from? Are these yours? I said, no, they're yours.
Mm.
And then the phone drops, or there's a big pause, and then they realize, oh my goodness, that's it. That's it. And when they see it in pictures, it immediately communicates to them. And then they start sharing it with others, and then they get validation, and they get focused clarity. They cut the fat from the process. They move on. The boulder has been moved.
I like that. So you're a boulder mover.
That's right.
What advice would you give somebody who is in that place where they're not really sure what their purpose is here? You know, most of us we feel like we have some sort of idea of it, but I think there's a lot of people that are still kind of drifting around it, and they haven't really zeroed in on, like you said, this is your mission here. This is why you're here. Where do you advise somebody to start if they're trying to really identify that?
I always tell people to think with their heart and feel with their mind.
Okay.
Because it starts with breaking down some of your patterns, or what you call rules. And a lot of our patterns and rules are given by our competition, our peer groups, and the pressure organizations that we belong. It's the giant pressure cooker of getting along in society by being the same as everybody and being accepted. It's like a template version of your what, and your what doesn't have a template.
Yeah.
So when you start thinking about that way, and you naturally thought that way when you're a child. And so I ask people to close their eyes and go back to a picture of when they were a kid, and talk to that picture and ask it, what is the gift that you would like to give me? And 9 times out of 10, the gift is exactly the beginning of understanding and unwrapping their purpose. We're in our heads. And the key to finding a strong foundation or purpose is to think with your heart and let that monkey brain just go. And you can't divorce one or the other. You have to combine them. And that's what's so neat about wisdom. Wisdom is combining the head and the heart. And so with your childlike gifts, and actually, ask that child what it would like from you. So it's all about getting into the flow of your desires and your dreams and your natural abilities as you came into this world. Your heart already knows it. Your heart is much, much smarter than your mind, because it's already there. It's just, okay, how do I strategically approach the heart? No.
Yeah. That is something that as children, we do have that intuitive knowing, and it gets quieted down over the years. You mentioned, all the different layers of things that people tell us, that we hear from pressure organizations around us. Well, this is what's supposed to happen next. You need to do this. And it is tough. I know one of the phrases that you mentioned when we were chatting earlier was that you want people to express their purpose and share it without apology.
Yes.
And that's huge, because so many people, even when we know what we're here to do, we too tend to have that apology piece where we're afraid to share it with people, or when we do it in a way that we're kind of shrinking back from it. So What do you advise people to do around that? How do they really step into what they're here to do and more boldly do that without apology?
How to step into your foundation, your purpose,
Hmm.
is it takes bravery because in order to even show your story in pictures, you show a sense of vulnerability. So the vulnerability comes out when you step into your purpose. And believe it or not, when you speak your truth, when you speak what's really in your heart and feel the heartbeat, actually feel it of your life, your business, or whatever, it's amazing when it comes out of your mouth in its purest form. You have to just step up to the platform and speak it. And the people that fall away from you are not your audience. You can't please everybody. And I think we're in our mind always trying to, okay, what's the hook for this? What's the hook for that? And we're thinking, thinking, thinking. Well, you don't need a hook. The masterpiece of your story is your heart.
Mm.
And people admire masterpieces. So you step forth and you just speak it. You do the homework, you do the interior work, and you come up with it. It's not a script. It's having a conversation with somebody else. It's getting yourself off the script and getting yourself into real conversation with real people. And that's your audience. Those are the people that you influence and influence you. So it's a matter of voicing it, and you can speak it, but a
Mhm.
safe way of doing it is to show it in pictures, because that is, like you make little stick figures in the sand when you're at the beach, and you draw hearts, I love you Louise, or I love you Ted, or whatever, and you've got all the guts in the world to take that stick and draw that heart.
Mhm.
And when you get in front of people, you don't have the stick, and you don't have the sand. So what do?
Mm.
You place your big ideas, your essence. It's like all artists, and I'm an artist. We're always looking for approval, and how do I be accepted? Well, you're already whole, and know that you're whole as you speak this and share this. And an easy way of doing it, so everybody's on your heart page, is to show it in pictures, and it's totally unintimidating for you, and it's kind of fun. So you got to have fun with it. It can't be all that serious.
I like that. Sometimes we do get so stuck on the analytical, serious side of things that we're worried about doing or saying all the wrong things. And it's not about that you're going to do or say the wrong thing. It's about when you share, what your purpose really is. You're right. You attract the right people. It's funny because one of the conversations, and I'm sure you've had this conversation too, that I have with people all the time is they'll come to me and say, I'm attracting all the wrong clients. I don't like these people. I don't want to work with these people. And then we go, okay, so how much of yourself are you putting into your marketing materials?
Yeah.
How much are you actually sharing your story, what values you have, what matters to you? And when we go back and look at it, we're like, oh, okay, the reason this group thinks they want to work with you is because this is what you look like online and in your business.
Exactly.
You need to be more of you. And then those people will find the right person to work with, and the right ones will be more drawn to you. So that is really an important thing for people to realize, that part of putting you out there so that you do attract the people who actually want to learn from you as you, or work with you like
Yeah.
your business. I'm sure you see that with clients all the time, the shift
Oh,
that happens.
it's the worry about being embarrassed. It's
Yeah.
the worry about not communicating their big ideas. They're talking high school when everybody else is in kindergarten around them. And so doing finger painting in pictures is probably appropriate at that point. And you know what? You reminded me of a phrase of, people are always trying to please everybody, and you just cannot. And
It's impossible.
yeah, and who you attract are what you're saying is how you're talking about yourself. And a lot of times people are taking their competitors and speaking their language, and they're attracting that audience. And so you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You just can't. And the people that fall off, blessings, thank you. And gosh, I'm going to attract the people who influence me, and I influence them. I'm going to build this huge heart bonfire,
Mhm.
and they're going to come, they're going to see it. And don't worry about the people who drop off. To me, that's just okay. It's just a river washing things away because we just aren't speaking your true speak. It's not your true north speak. What's your heartbeat? And I just am amazed at myself and other people when you get so busy about all the things that you need to do to start your business or maintain your business, and you're doing. Pretty soon you can put your hand on the wrist of the pulse of your business. You can't even feel a heartbeat anymore. You've totally lost your heart. You've totally lost your foundation. And so by taking a pause and looking at this, what am I here for? What is my what? And then you find the resistance to finding that what, which tells you what patterns you need to change. And that's where the interesting stuff really happens. And the aha moments very much happen in both drawing it out and coaching it, as you probably know. Yeah.
I think that's such a great analogy for it, that you're kind of taking it back to finger painting, because at a certain point in your business, a lot of people struggle with, because they know so much about what they do, the way they explain it doesn't make any sense to somebody who's new, who's looking for help with it. It's just like, okay, you just used 15 industry words that I need to go Google this so that I can even understand, right? So taking it back to, I like the analogy of finger painting and sharing what you do in your story in that way. That's very cool. So you've got a 5-step purpose quest map that you share with people that helps them get started with this process.
Yes, it's a really easy, breezy start. Your story is your story. You have to start somewhere and trying to find it or tell it or validate it. And this is a real easy PDF that I send out to people and that you can download here that gets you going. I mean, if you have point A to point D, and just think of it as the boat that will take you on that journey to get you across to point D and not be swallowed up by the big compass master or whatever. All those old maps where those dragons and stuff were in the waters and ready to eat you. Well, that's not going to happen. And what's interesting, it'll kind of tweak your curiosity about whether you've got it or not. And then just give me a buzz and we can talk about where you're at and how you're doing it. And then some people just hit home runs right off the instant, and it changes their viewpoint. And I think what it does is it changes a point of view to, I've already got it. I've already got it. It's there. I just need to uncover all these layers that I've been putting up there in terms of, walls and obstacles to really knowing who you are and why you're doing it. Your what? There's just like, it's your what? Why not do it? So
that's awesome. All right. So to get a copy of that, it's chilightful.com, CHILIGHTFUL.com. You can find that on Paula's site, and go grab a copy of it. Work through the 5 steps, because no matter where you're at in business, whether you're just getting started and trying to figure out exactly which direction do I go, what's going to really align with what I'm here to do, or whether you're in the situation Paula described a minute ago. If you've been in business for more than a minute and you realize you're in a place where you don't really even remember why you started your business or what it was that really inspired you, and you want to reconnect to that mission and purpose that you had in it, this will help you do that and walk you through the steps to really reconnect with, hey, this is what I'm here to do. So I encourage you to go grab a copy of that. Again, it's chilightful.com. And is there one tip that you'd like to leave people with, of wherever they're at, one thing they can do today to help reconnect to that heart in their business?
To get the PDF, you can go to a further link of chilightful.com/your 5-step purpose quest map. So that's the total link. But advice on how to do this, when to do it, when you're ready, when you're totally stuck. When you are stuck. And I have 3 things to share with people, and that is to bless the present, know yourself, and expect the best. That's already in you. And that's the best advice I can give people for personal and work life is expect the best.
Mm,
Always do that.
love that. That's a great perspective to keep. Thank you so much for popping on to chat today.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. I just love what you do, and I follow your entrepreneurship regularly, and you're quite the busy lady and have wonderful things to say and help for people. So hop on board with Michelle.
I appreciate that. It's definitely an adventure and a bit of a quest. So I love the way you describe it.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in today. Whether you're watching this or listening, hit subscribe wherever you're at and join us for the next episode.